Hi, this is Edith, Educational Technologist at Oregon Tech, and in this video I would like to go over how you can edit a picture that you might insert in your document. And so when you are inserting a picture, of course you're going to go to Insert, and you can pick however you want to do it. You can do a picture, you can do an online picture, you can do a shape, but since I have pictures online and they're easily accessible to me, I'm going to go ahead and grab it. This is a picture my daughter took while she was in Africa. There's a lioness here that she was very excited to see. So you can see when I opened up that picture, though, I got all of this new format tab and all of these options to work with on that. The first thing you want to do, though, is make sure that when you insert the picture, it doesn't affect the way that the document looks. And as you can see, I have kind of a hanging thing here. One thing I would like to do is resize. So you can see I have these little dots here on the outside of my picture. So I can take any of those. Usually I take it from the corner because it keeps it keeps it where it maintains its ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring that down just a little bit, and you can see how small it's going to get. So I went ahead and did that, but I'm still not happy with the way it is. I actually want maybe perhaps this part of the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and crop it. And it'll give you these extra lines here, and you can see that my cursor changes into like an upside down T shape or a sideways T shape or an L shape here. So it's mimicking those corners. So what I could do is actually just bring up this bottom piece here, because I don't need all of this grass perhaps. And then I can see what the picture is going to look like. Once I do that, once I click, I can hit enter, and now my picture has been resized. Now again, I have all this empty white space that's not very useful to me. It's taken up too much room. So especially if you're doing printing or you're sending out a handout, you don't want this empty space here. So one of the things you can do to change the empty space is you can click on the picture, and you see you got this little icon that shows up. It's your layout options, and it'll tell you what the option is that's selected at the time, which you can see is in line with text. I could choose square with text, and that will bring all of this up, and let's go ahead and click off of there. And so you can see now it's in alignment with the picture, and it's filled in that white space, which I think looks really nice. I can actually move the picture throughout the document, and you can see everywhere I move it, the words are going to go ahead and go in square around it. So that's really kind of a nice feature. I hope that if you have any more questions about that, that you would contact me. But again, maybe I want the words to go in front of the text. So I can actually pick in front of text. And now you can see, it doesn't make sense to do this in this sense, but you can see now I have it in front of my text. And so I'm hiding a bunch of text. So now I don't want to hide that text. I actually do want to show it. I could do, I believe through should make it. Okay, so it's making it similar to the square space. So that's not a very good option, but I can also put it behind text. And now I'm hiding the picture. So, you really got to kind of play with this to kind of understand how you want it to look. And again, my suggestion is probably more than anything is to go ahead and do the square if that's what and test it out, see what looks best for you. But the square is going to give you the most use of the white space. One of the other things you can do, if you want text over it, then you can do an insert and do a text box, and you can actually insert the text box over the top of that, and you can see I have that right now. And I can also do the same things. I can go through the text. I could keep it in front of the text. I can move it behind. So I have all of these options that are available to me. So if you want to put some kind of caption in there, you can. The text box, you can also see that in the format box the format tools, you have other options that are available to you that weren't available in the picture. So if I click on the picture and I go back here, my selections change depending on what I am working on at that time. So again, so if I want to change the shape, the fill shape, I can actually go ahead and go in here and change the color. I wanted to match the sky, and then okay, so I could put something in there like that, you know, or I can also say I don't want any fills. So what happens is it turns into a type of transparent, but I still will have perhaps that box around there. So these are the options. I can say no outline. I could change it maybe to a dark blue just to kind of make it look kind of pretty. I can also do a shadow effect, so it looks like that. You know, it's really, there's a lot of things you can do in here. Again, my biggest thing that I like to tell people, and you'll hear me say it a lot in the videos that I do create, please play with it, test it. You know, you can't hurt anything. Again, and another recommendation I have is go ahead and save the original document, and then save a copy of it and then play with that, because maybe you will find that you didn't like what you did and you might have saved it. So this way at least you have the original document to start over with if you want to. Because remember, when you make saves, like if you click on save right now, everything that I've done will save and I can't undo anything. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a different copy saved if you know that you may be just making changes that you're unsure of. So again, I'll go over a little bit more with the text box options. You know, you have shapes that you can install. You know, if I want to point to the lioness, because you can't see her because she is kind of small in this picture, you can do that as well. So you have those options, and then you can change the text direction. So say I wanted to go 90 degrees, you know, and I can actually move this over here. And so, you know, I have these other things that I can do. I can also align text. I want it in the center. I want it to the left. I want it to the right. So you have a lot of options that I suggest, again, you play with. You can change styles. Perhaps but you have to highlight. Please remember that. I do forget that on occasion. And you can see how it changes when I hover over these. And see, so now I have a different kind of font going on here. I can create a link. I can change the position. So again, here's inline with wrapping, you know, the different types of wraps that you have. So again, please go through all of these and kind of see what might work best for you. You can see how it's changing where it is on the document. So that's all I was doing. But if you don't click on any of these and you click off of it, it's going to go back to the original selection that you made. You can also bring forward, you can bring to front, you can bring in front of text. So, you know, maybe I want it in front of text and I can move it over here. Bring in front of text, so you can see how I'm now in front of the text. So I'll leave that there though for now. You can also send backward, same principle as send forward, send to back, send backward, send behind text. And it's not working because I didn't have it highlighted. So please be aware that sometimes we do make mistakes, and so, you know, this is just a way to you know, make sure that you're doing the right thing. If something doesn't work, you may understand why, because you may not have had it selected like I just did. Send back. So I sent it backwards, I sent it behind text. Now I can bring it forward and it'll bring it back forward for me. So that's a way of kind of testing to see if you like how it looks. Alignment, again, you have all of these alignments. Align center. So that's going to align it in the center of the page. I could distribute it horizontally. So, you know, just play with your choices that you have available. You can also rotate the object. You know, you can rotate it left, rotate it right, and I did that backwards, vertical, horizontal, and I have more options. I can also change the style of the shape. You can see that I have all of these options here. So say I want this. So there's a lot of things, again, that you can play with and learn how, you know, make the best document for you as possible. That's really what I'm trying to do for you. Now with the formatting picture, I can remove the background. So if you have a background on there so you can see how it came up like this. And I don't want to remove the background. Well, let's try it, because maybe that's kind of cool looking. There you go. So there's a background that's been removed. I've kind of made it a little bit different looking. Things are still wrapping around it really nicely. So, you know, again, play. I really encourage it. You can do corrections. Maybe I want to lighten the picture up a little bit more, so it's going to correct it for me. Or I didn't like that, so I can go a little bit darker with a little bit more green in there. So these are things that you can use to make your picture a little bit better looking. I can change the colors. So perhaps I want a little bit more depth in my picture. I can do that with these things here. Or I could just say, you know, I want it to be black and white to give it a real classic effect, you know. Or perhaps I don't want to print in color and I don't want to waste color. I can change it to that black and white. Artist effects, so, you know, if you want to do maybe a cartoon type, you know, it's things to play with. And so you can see how I hovered on here. The picture actually does change. It's taken a little bit of time, but you can see what these look like before you make the changes. So you know, definitely work with that. You can compress the pictures. So this just helps decrease the size of your file if you're working for something that with something that you don't need a lot of resolution for. This just helps bring down the size of the file so it's easier, so that, like, if you want to email it, you can see it here, that you're not taking up a lot, because a lot of email programs have size limits to them. So this will definitely help with those instances where you might need to decrease the size of the picture. But I'm not going to go ahead and do that for now. You can also change your picture. So, you know, you have, again, from the file from online sources. So if I want to change the picture and I'm like, well, I didn't really like that picture, I want this one instead, I can change it. But since I don't have two of them, I'm not going to change it right now. And you can reset the picture. So if I made all of those changes, so let's reset the picture, it comes back to this. So this is what the picture looked like, and I can say, well, maybe I liked it, maybe I didn't like it. I kind of like the way it looked, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back. You know, so I'm going to leave it there. You can change the picture styles. So this is kind of nice, like if you want to do different frames around your picture. So now it kind of looks like I have a Polaroid picture, or, you know, if you're a 60s child like I was, this is like normal picture with the white border all the way around and such. So you can do that. You can change that. And you have all of these different options. I can actually make it a circle if I want. Or I can make it like this. So I have a lot of things that I can do. And, you know, just to make a different document. You don't always have to stick with, you know, the normals. You know, I really do like to encourage people to go outside their comfort zone and you know, explore, because you might find something that works better for you, that you feel more comfortable with, or, you know, that engages your students or whomever you're presenting to. We get so caught up in wanting to do everything the same way all the time that we forget to be a little bit creative. I could do a picture border. So what's kind of nice about this is perhaps I want to put a, you know, a different color. So this is where we can come in, and I like this color here. So I'm going to say, okay, and make that my picture border, you know, and I can choose the weight. And what the weight is just how thick the line is outside the picture. And so, you know, it's not showing up very well, and it may be because of the frame that I chose. So let's go ahead and go back to the normal. Let's see if we can get the frame to work for us. All right, let me go ahead here. There we go. So you can see then I have my picture border. Let's go ahead and pick this color again, and I can change the size of the outline. I can also change whether it's a dash or a straight line. Maybe I want it dotted. You know, it doesn't really show up well because it's so skinny. Perhaps if we go a little bit different, let's go a little bit heavier. And let's go ahead and try that again with the dashes. So let's try this one here. So it's not showing up very well, but you can change it, just so that you know. And, you know, so sometimes things don't work the way I expect them to. But, you know, again, please just practice, play with it. You know, go ahead and do other things. If it doesn't work right the first time, try something different. Just because I'm doing a video, I don't want to get too in depth, but I do want to show you how you can do these things. Perhaps I wanted ambient light in the background there. So you can see now that I have a reflection back there, or I want beveled edges instead of the ones that I have. So you have all of these things that you can do and make it look really neat. You know, I like the soft edges, so I'm going to take off the other things that I had. No rotation, no glow. Let's see, no border. And then let's go ahead and try this again. So let's go to, I could do a shadow of the picture. Let me go ahead and delete this because it's kind of, to me, it's a little bit distracting when I'm trying to do this. So again, you know, just test things out, see how you like the way that they look. Okay, so let's go to soft edges. So, you know, it just softens the edges supposedly. Perhaps it's the color of my document or what I have chosen for, you know, the background. Let's see, that's not what I meant to do. Let's go back here. So it may just be reflective of the framing I chose. So, you know, again, if it's not something you like, go ahead and just change it. You know, I just want to show you that you have those things available. Picture layout, I guess there's different layouts that you can try. And again, you know, play with them. At least the nice thing is that you can hover over these things and see what it would look like for you. Again, position, we went over that. That's just going to be where it is in the document. Wrap text, we want to make sure, and that's where we're at here. So you have all of the options this way as well. You can also move it with the text. You can fix it on the page so that it doesn't move, but the text will move around it. Or you have more layout options. Again, same thing as what we're just doing now. It's just a different way of looking at it. And we went through the send backward selection pane. That's this here. So I can actually do, if I have multiple pictures, say I have another picture down here. Let's go ahead and put another one in real quick. I'll put in one of my Word document. Let's put this one in. And so now I have another picture. I also have a horizontal line. You know, so I'm going to change this also to around or in. There we go. And so if I go up here, I'm going to say show all, horizontal line, picture 3, why are you, picture 1. So you can actually go through these and show all, hide all. So if I go to picture 3 and I want to show all again, so I'm going to go down here and my picture will show up. This is probably the other one that's missing, that supposedly, and there's the horizontal line. So, and I can hide it, and I can hide it, and I still have my picture here. Okay, and so you can also do the crop. We already went over that at the very beginning. It's a very useful tool, especially if you want to shorten your picture up. So like if I want to crop it some more, because I just want to show this part of it, I can do that. And now my picture is even smaller. You hit enter or click off the picture, and it will reset itself there. And also just be aware that anytime you want to get to this format tool, it doesn't show up unless you click on the picture. So I just want you to be aware of that. So you might be seeing me doing this all throughout the video, but that's why. So and again, these little tabs right here means there's more stuff that you can do within that category. So here's the lock aspect ratio. So say you don't want it to be locked, you can uncheck it here and then be able to reset the picture at a different size. So say I'd say okay, the only time it will stay locked aspect is when I use the little corner things, but say I want to stretch it up this way, now it's not going to be exactly to the aspect ratio, but that's the reason why. All right, so let's go in and do another text box, since I want to kind of go over a little bit of the text box with you as well. So let's go ahead and move this down over here, and I'm going to put in here okay, so now I'm here again. We get a different set of information here. Again, you can change, you can add arrows. You can do that also with pictures, but you get this option a little bit quicker with the text box, because perhaps more people use it with the text box than not. I couldn't answer that. Format. Okay, so we talked about outlines and how you can change those, or you can also just say I don't want any fill of color and I don't want an outline, and now it looks like it's on top of the picture and it's transparent. So it is nice. You can move it around. And so, or if you want it to stand out, then you can also, of course, do the shape fills and say maybe I want it to glow green. So it's not showing up again and again. It's one of those things that perhaps because I decided that not to have a box around it, that's why I'm not getting. So let's see if that changes if I go to a green line. And yeah, so if I have a shape outline and I want it to glow, that's what will happen. So it is maybe I want to go with gray, and I want it to be a gray outline instead of green, and you can barely see it, but it kind of shows up nice, a little bit blurred out and such. And I know we talked about the quick styles, so if I wanted to change it to a yellow so that you could see it better, I want to align text in the middle, change your text direction. I know we talked about that just a little bit more. These are just more ways that you can do different options here, because it is already done in yellow. Maybe I want to do it in black. I want to fill. So there's different things that you can try to make it work. So you can see I got the black in there. I can also do reflections. I want it to show on the bottom or whatever. There's a lot of things you can do. Again, it's for just creating an engaging presentation for whomever's looking at it. And again, these are similar to the other one that we just discussed earlier, with the arrangement and the size, and that's the same as in the picture. So that is basically the drawing tools for Microsoft Word. So if you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything of the like, please feel free to contact me, edis.warden@oit.edu, extension 51730, and you can always find me on Skype, Edis Warden. I'm in the directory, and just go ahead and add me, and if you want a video conference, set up a meeting with me, just let me know, and I will be more than glad to meet with you if I haven't covered everything that you want to learn about. All right, well, I hope you have a great day, and thank you for watching.